Hello and welcome to episode 14 of the Cellarcast. You're getting sleepy Tigan today. I don't know why I've been so tired recently. I think it's I kind of messed up my sleep schedule. I forget how I did it. I did it somehow like 2 weeks ago and I just haven't been able to recover. I wanted to record earlier, but I was like, I'm too tired. Let me take a nap. And then so I took a nap for about 4 hours, and then I woke up and I was like, okay, I still feel kind of not great. I feel dehydrated and all that. So I tried to drink some water, I took a walk, and I'm still tired, but I gotta record this. So, yeah, excuse me if if there's a little more, maybe some more pauses in this video than there usually are. Because, your guy's a little weird, a little sleepy. Might be dropping a couple yawns here and there. I'm also probably just going to be playing with the magnets more than usual. I'm sorry if you hate that noise, but a guy's got to do what a guy's got to do. So, I was playing, so I did end up, I think last time I talked a bit about that new Doom mod, Thatcher's Techbase. Yeah, so I played it. It was pretty short. It's basically 3 levels, but the first and third one are extremely short. Basically an intro and like the intro level, and the last level is like a really small little, basically nothing. Second level is like a pretty large, endeavor. It did take me like pretty labyrinthine. Took me, I want to say maybe 2 hours or an hour and a half to beat the whole thing. Yeah, like I want to say under 2 hours. And it was fine. It was okay. It's definitely not the best. It's like as soon as I sit down to record, I just start burping. It's so weird. I haven't. It's not the best one I've ever played. But it was all right. There's a lot of like weird differences with the weapons. The regular shotgun, a lot of the weapons are changed except for the super shotgun, the chain gun, and as far as I'm aware, the BFG is basically the same. But almost all the other weapons they have some little difference to them. Even if it's just like visual and audio, the regular shotgun actually, it's a Winchester. It's a Winchester. Aren't they rifles or Winchester shotguns? I always thought it was a Winchester rifle, but it has like it's like a bolt action, so it has like a nice kind of like clicky sound. It was actually I liked it, and then the rocket launcher was changed into this. It's called the Trident launcher, which is basically just shoots rockets that are slower and weirder, and I don't like how it felt. I don't know why it was changed to be like that. The enemies also felt just generally weaker. Maybe I was just playing too much Quake, so I was used to the bullet sponges. But yeah, it was all right. It had some problems with the design. Was a little shoddy in a couple places, namely with just being a little all over the place. Not all over the place, but kind of like confusing and not very good with signposting. Just kind of like where a lot of the the classic where do I go? That happens with a lot of retro shooters succumb to. But which you don't usually expect out of like, higher quality mods, because they've had some time to study level design and all that. Yeah, it was alright. It got me curious. I'm not super up on my British history. I do know that people hate Margaret Thatcher, but I wasn't sure why. Oh yeah, the chainsaw was actually replaced with pissing. So you do get to piss on Margaret Thatcher's grave. You can do that pretty early on, actually. So I looked up like why people hate Margaret Thatcher so much, and it was definitely like, I don't know, the article that I read definitely was pretty fair to her, but yeah, there's definitely some. I can see why she's an unsavory character in British politics and British history. Not didn't make a lot of decisions that were popular with the working class. Anyway, I want to get on to some fun news. I don't know if this is fun or not, but we're back. This is a recurring segment at this point. It's the Blizzard block, guys. I should make like a little like musical intro. Like, what would be a good music like to play every time? Like, oh, it's this week's Blizzard block. It's the Blizzard block, guys. Take care and don't catch a cold. Coming from Kotaku, from Zach Zweisen, the U.S. government is now investigating Activision Blizzard. Again, Bobby Kotick subpoenaed. What the fuck? They use this picture of Bobby Kotick that's like the least flattering thing. This man has, let me count how many chins he's got here. He's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 chins. Man, they got like whoever drew Angerer from Getty Images. He got the I don't know what camera he's using, but it is some high definition 4K HDR. It's capturing every single wrinkle on this man's neck, just all of his every single jowl. Bobby Kotick has one chin for every single employee he's laid off. Anyway, so you might be saying, what? Isn't Blizzard already being investigated? Well, yes, but this is a different one. So that was the department, so that was technically by the state of California. This is a federal investigation into Activision Blizzard. So the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission, or the SEC, has reportedly launched a wide-reaching investigation into Activision Blizzard, with the government agency looking into how the embattled publisher handled the multiple allegations of sexual harassment, abuse, and toxic behavior that became public following the California DFEH, following the last lawsuit. The SEC has subpoenaed Activision and several of its high-ranking execs, including CEO Bobby Kotick. I like how we've just all called him Bobby. Like, he's not Robert, he's Bobby. In a report out today by the Wall Street Journal, it was revealed the SEC had begun investigating Activision Blizzard. Dude, wouldn't it be so funny if in whatever documents they subpoena from him, they had information like texts from when he was on Jeffrey Epstein's plane? Wouldn't that be like hilarious? That would be so freaking funny. Could you imagine that? Anyway, it was revealed they've been investigating Activision Blizzard and is asking for the hand over various documents. These include the personnel files of 6 previous employees, and records of CEO Kotick's communications with executives relating to the numerous complaints of sexual harassment and discrimination levied against Activision Blizzard staff. The investigation is not necessarily about finding justice for the victims of the horrible abuse. Why would it be? But instead about looking out for the company's investors who probably aren't happy about its recent cycle of bad news. Yeah, so the SEC is, they aren't for the people, really. They're for the investors. They're for the shareholders. the WSJ explains that the SEC is investigating to figure out whether Activision and its executives correctly and adequately disclosed allegations of workplace harassment and gender pay issues to investors and other related individuals, and if these disclosures happened quickly enough, according to the documents seen by the outlet. So this is basically just an extension. It's just another version of the other lawsuit that's happening against Blizzard, but now it's towards Activision Blizzard, and it's by the SEC instead of just the shareholders. Because there's a class action lawsuit, I believe, from the Blizzard shareholders against, I don't know, the company Blizzard. I don't know if it was any individuals, probably not individuals, but against the company, like, hey, why didn't you tell us that you were under investigation by a state department? Why wouldn't you do that? Overwatch, what is this other story? Overwatch 2's boss is quitting Blizzard for some time off? What the fuck? Wait, I didn't see this. His name was Chaco Sonny? That's not a real name. Chaco? Hey, Chaco. Catch me dude, I think that there's a lot of Blizzard executives who are going to be doing the Chaco challenge, if you know what I'm talking about. I'm talking about leaving the company. Wouldn't that be hilarious if a bunch of people started quitting Blizzard and photographing themselves leaving, calling it the Chaco challenge? Chaco Sonny, who's been at Blizzard since 2016 and has worked on both Overwatch games, announced his departure. The series' executive producer has quit for some time off. Usually don't like quit. Usually that's called like taking a sabbatical. It's not quitting. What? Oh my god, dude, the whole Overwatch 2 thing. I hope that game is good. Just to see it come out well. I hope it's like a Doom 2016 situation where, like, you know, when Doom 2016 was first getting, it was nearing release, and they put out like a beta of it was like a demo, early access of the multiplayer, and everyone was like, I don't know, and it was looking like it was going to be a big mess, big flop, and then the game came out, and it, basically single-handedly revived an entire subgenre and brought this like 20-year-old series back into the public eye. That was sick. I hope Overwatch 2 does that. You know, I hope all the good people working at Blizzard get theirs, you know. Everyone's got to get theirs. Is there anything else in this article? Update. Ooh. 9/21/2021. Oh, this is from forever ago. What the hell? Activision Blizzard CEO Bobby Kotick responded to these latest events earlier today, claiming that leadership is deeply committed to making Activision Blizzard one of the best, most inclusive places to work anywhere. There is absolutely no place anywhere in our company for discrimination, harassment, or unequal treatment of any kind. I will lay off any motherfucker in this room. He didn't say that last part. While we continue to work in good faith with regulators to address and resolve past workplace issues, we also continue to... I don't have to read the end of this, you know what. The first comment, I didn't know that you could respond with GIFs on on Kotaku. It's from Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory and Gene Wilder. I think that's the scene where Augustus Gloop gets sucked up the pipe and he goes, "Oh, the suspense is terrible. I hope it'll last." I hope too. God, Bobby Kotick. Call him Gobby. Bobby Kotick. He looks terrible in this picture, dude. He looks like a wax figure. He looks like he looks like he's wearing a human being's skin, but it's a little too. He hasn't broken it in yet, and still got like all the sheen on it. This looks like it was taken on like an overcast day. This is not good. Next story. Quantic Dream bosses successfully sue French newspaper Le Monde for libel, but lose case against second French outlet, from Eurogamer by Tom Phillips. So if you remember, I don't know, I don't think I was doing the podcast at that time, but Quantic Dream, the David Cage people, they were what the hell? They got there was so some French newspapers published some stories about toxic workplace environment, harassment, apparently Nazi photoshops. I never knew. There's like no pictures of these things. I don't think so. Quantic Dream photoshops. One Quantic Dream employee has 600. What is offensive photographs? Oh my god! Oh my god! They're actually. Oh my god! I didn't know they were. There's like two. So one of the what? I've never seen these. How did I never see these? How is this not like a huge meme? It's a picture of 3 male employees photoshopped onto 3 women. That's so funny, guys. It's another one of a different employee photoshopped onto a picture of Hitler. What else do we have? What the fuck? What is this? This is so weird. There's some weird. I'm trying to. It's like from the Lazy Media. I don't know what this is. Oh, it's like a bunch of other. It's like a bunch of male employees. Oh, what is this? What language is this in? Is this in Indonesian? I'm gonna take a wild guess. I'm gonna say Indonesian. Tell me it's Indonesian. All right. From. Why does translate not tell me what it's from? I swear to God, this is... What is a .goog address? What the hell? What is a .goog address? Okay, we're just going to translate. I swear to gosh. This is... Dude, I fucking called it. It's Indonesian. Anyway, I'm sorry for cursing. Yeah, it's a bunch... I guess those pictures were a bunch of, it's a lot of like men photoshopped onto like women. I don't know, it's pretty. What the fuck? It's like an incredibly obese person in a diaper. There's a guy with a power tool, but there's a sexual object at the end of the power tool. What the fuck is this? Dude, French people are weird, dude. Like, I don't know, man. Like, they've done enough for us. Anyway, they had these newspapers allege a bunch of stuff that they were doing that was not good, and they sued them. They sued the papers for libel. And that was, of course, where David Cage. So that was where like one of the like heads of the company, like what's his name? Guillaume de Vendôme. He said, "I'm not under oath, so I can lie," right? That was awesome. That's such a good quote. And then David Cage started crying in court, and he said, "Hey, you are disrespecting my company." Oh, and there was like those quotes from David Cage where he said like, "All the women in my games are whores," and like, "I don't make games for the British word for cigarettes," and so basically, so what happened here was they did some. Okay, so a report by, I'm going to read directly from so I don't get any of this mixed up, because a little bit of it was a little confusing, so maybe we're going to figure this out live on camera. A report by Solidaire Informatique, translated by Eurogamer, states Le Mans' case had been weakened, this is the newspaper Le Monde, as it was unable to provide certain elements of its reporting without divulging the anonymity of its sources. Neither party has commented publicly on the judgment, and there's no word yet on any terms. So, basically what it looks like is that Quantic Dream won the case against Le Monde because Le Monde was not able, they did not disclose their, they didn't disclose who their sources were because they were naturally all anonymous. A joint report which alleged, so Le Monde, Mediapart, and Canard PC simultaneously published a joint report in which alleged inappropriate behavior, crunch, and a schoolboy culture involving sexist and racist jokes at the famous French studio. Cage and de Fondamier both firmly denied the allegations, saying they were shocked by the rantings of former employees and calling them ridiculous, absurd, and grotesque. So it launched basically a legal proceeding a few months later. One particular area of contention was a cache of some 600 controversial photoshopped images of staff dating back to 2013, some of which were made public by the various publications. In July 2018, Quantic Dream lost a case against a former employee who quit due to the offensive images. So they're just suing everyone. So I don't know if this has ever actually happened where a publisher has sued a newspaper. Yeah, so, there's, how many of the pictures are there from Canard PC? I never actually looked into this. Oh no, the page is gone. It just directs me to the home page. Lame. Maybe I could cache it. Search Google. So like a Google cache. Never mind. So, they're just suing everyone, and they're losing some of them. It's very, I don't know, it's really, I thought it was interesting just because I find David Cage to be really funny. And I am so ready to believe that there was some goofiness going on at his studio. So, the fact that they have now won this lawsuit, but not because they proved anything. Now, again, it isn't on them to prove that, there was no culture of toxicity, right? Like, that's not how that's supposed to work. The paper has to provide evidence, and they refuse to disclose their anonymous sources, which is, you can take it either way. You could take it as, and there's even under the comments in this of this story, there's people getting into an argument about whether or not it's fake, and the ultimate answer is we could probably never know, but I'd believe it. Of course, you can fake an anonymous, you can fake a story and then say that it's an anonymous source, although it is like weirdly risky for it's weirdly risky for 3 different newspapers to basically like form a little cabal against one specific company where they're going to make up stories about harassment at the company that are fake and that they cannot provide their sources on. It just seems kind of weird because I don't know. I guess, you know, human malice knows no bounds. It's just weird that they're like in a little conspiracy together. You know, it's a little funny. They did lose. Hang on. It said they lost against another. Where did it say in this article? They lost another French outlet. So they lost against like an employee, I guess, but not against court case against a former employee. But they have not. Okay. Let me. Okay. So Mediapart. So there were three in the case. Le Monde, Mediapart, and the Canard PC. So a report. Mediapart, another French outlet, sued by Quantic Dream for its reporting on the allegations. So the same issue, different company, was completely cleared. Separate libel cases by Quantic Dream as a company against Le Monde and Mediapart also failed. So wait, I don't know exactly how French law works, or I know that their constitution was based off of the American Constitution, but I'm not certain with how like their laws around libel and stuff work. Did they sue them for like two different types of libel? Or maybe like one is damages? I have no idea. But apparently they've got 2 lawsuits. They've got 4 how do I describe this? They've got 2 companies that they're suing, and they've got 2 lawsuits on each. So they're doing 4 lawsuits. And they only lost one of them. They only won one of them. Apparently, they have a separate libel case against Le Monde, and they've got another libel case against Mediapart. And they lost the Mediapart, or it was just cleared, it was dropped, I guess, and then only won the Le Monde case. And somehow there's like still people in the comments arguing about whether or not it's probably fake. And then, of course, the article has to end with the wonderful news that there are reports which suggest the studio's next project is a Star Wars game. Oh boy, dude, I'm almost sickeningly curious. Is that how you would say that? I'm sickened with curiosity. I'm gonna vom. To see what a David Cage Star Wars game would look like. I'm already laughing thinking about it. We get to pull. You know what the best thing about any David Cage game is that you get to pull out the bingo card. Hang on. David Cage bingo card. Here we go. A gun is within sight of one scene. You start to feel confused. What do these have like so? Okay, there's like several of these. Okay. If there's a homeless person in the scene, the plot is nearing nonsensical writing, an emotional scene. Continuity, what's that? Shower or bath scene, QTEs, mirror gazing, time limit, if the plot dropped the ball and has jumped the shark, someone yelling a person's name out. Awkward dialogue or physical interaction. Let's see, the become human bingo. Forced romance between main character and side character. The illusion of choice. Main character is special. Casual sexism. Shitty parent-child relationship. Casual racism. Bonus if there's a Chinese guy with a racist accent. Stilted line reading. No actual freedom to move around. Horrible portrayal of mental illness. Awkward sex scene. Main character / villain suddenly gets new powers for no reason. Oh god, I'm remembering the end of Indigo Prophecy. Ooh. Cute. That's not how police / military works. Why does every single David Cage game seem to involve the police or the military? Police, military, homeless people. I don't know. There's just like these things that he likes. Random supernatural elements, yeah. I'm so like, what's it gonna be? What's the David Cage Star Wars game gonna be? It's almost like you gotta have like what's a brainstorming session? What time would it take place in? It would take place during the prequels. He would probably love that. What else? What if he had like so the let me make a David Cage Star Wars game. So it takes place during the era of the Republic. The main character is a detective on Coruscant, and there is a Moida case, and he or she has to interact with children at some point. There's going to be a really long segment where they play a made-up space game, and it goes on for way too long. They're going to play Pazak. Ooh, would they play Pazak? I don't know if they'd go that deep. And then there's going to be a QTE segment where you gotta like move the controller back and forth so that you can like milk the thing that Luke drinks out of, and you get the blue milk from the horrifying milk monster from Last Jedi. Could you imagine a milking QTE? Anyway, that's funny. He's a goofball. Tim Sweeney says, so if you remember, to catch everyone up, Epic technically won the lawsuit against Apple, but with the stipulation that they basically had to pay them a bunch of dues for all the money that they earned while they were breaking the contract. So Tim Sweeney goes, late last night, Apple informed Epic that Fortnite will be blacklisted from the Apple ecosystem until the exhaustion of all court appeals, which could be as long as a 5-year process. So they're like, well, you're not getting Fortnite back on the App Store until you pay us up. Dear Gary, I am responding to your recent request that Apple this is coming from Gary Bornstein, who I guess is some lawyer for assuming Epic. I'm responding to your recent request that Apple reinstate Epic's developer program account, which was terminated for they got it terminated. Wow. For cause last year. Epic committed an intentional breach of contract and breach of trust by concealing code from Apple and making related misrepresentations and omissions. In its decision, the court recognized that Apple had contractual rights to act as it did. It merely enforced those rights, as Epic's own internal documents show Epic Games expected. Because they knew. Because they literally knew. Oh, that was so silly. Yep, that was all lawful. Everything Apple was completely in the right to axed them from the platform. Following that decision, Mr. Sweeney has publicly said that Epic, quote, wouldn't trade an alternative payment system away to get Fortnite back on iOS. In light of this and other statements since the court's decision, coupled with Epic's duplicitous conduct in the past, Apple has exercised its discretion not to reinstate Epic's developer program account at this time. Furthermore, Apple will not consider any further requests for reinstatement until the district court's judgment becomes final and non-appealable. So apparently this could take about, according to Mr. Sweeney, this guy should be cutting my hair. This could take as long as 5 years to pay back. I have no sympathy. I have no sympathy at all for you or your company for this situation at all. I don't know why a company. There's very few times where I would feel legitimately bad for a company. The last time that happened is when Capcom had that ransomware attack, because that was like a shitty situation for the entire company, like top to bottom. And I can imagine, like, even if you were the worst, most money hungry, dickish executive, that's like pretty shitty to like go through, because also it's like your employees are affected, and it's like and it's kind of like your security's fault that they didn't get better security. That's the last. I don't feel bad for Epic at all. They knew exactly what they were doing. They did it. They had a marketing campaign loaded in the chamber, ready to go, as soon as they saw movement, and they knew what they were doing, and they did it for that money. They did it for that shmoney. And I guess in the long run it resulted in some policies that might be better for more smaller developers and all that. But yeah, the one of the top replies to this thread from Mr. Sweeney is, play stupid games, win stupid prizes. That's pretty good. I want to talk a bit about the Nintendo Direct. What a Direct it was. You know, for someone who doesn't own a Nintendo console, I don't own a console. I haven't owned a Nintendo console since the Wii. This Direct had a surprising amount of relevant things to me, and honestly, I was only interested in maybe the last Smash character being revealed, although they are. Can I say something about that? Of course I can. Of course I can say something about it. It's my show, baby. So everyone's tuning into this thing, and they're like, "Oh, they're gonna announce the last Smash character, aren't they?" That would be baller. That would be such a banger conference. It's not really a conference, but you know what I mean. And then they go, "Nope, we're revealing it in its own separate live stream," which is fine, because in a weird way, this is kind of a historical event. Revealing it in its own separate live stream. It's gonna be on 10/5, October 5th. And that happens to be the same day that Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl is coming out, which is funny because I remember, like, Capcom very strategically placed when they were releasing, the season 5 content, all the characters and all the new characters and stuff. They very strategically did it around the release of Guilty Gear Strive. And when I say around, I mean like they went around it. They intentionally gave that game its breathing room, because they know that most fighting game players are like play multiple fighting games, and it's a new game. It's kind of like the first in the newer. Strive is kind of kicking off the new age. I would say 2015, 16 was the last. When did KOF 14 come out? 2016, yeah. And then Tekken 7, not 76, what the fuck? Tekken 7 was 2015, and then, was that when the arcade version came out, or when the Tekken 7 console release? Yeah, 2015. So it's like 2015, 2016 was like the last kind of, the games tend to go in, they've gone in waves, and they're all winding down now, and Strive is the first new one to kick off the new era, I guess. The new cycle. And so they very like strategically were like, okay, and it was a respect move. They gave that game a lot of respect as a competitor, which is pretty cool for a series that's been super niche for forever. They were like, okay, we're going to wait until we're going to release character before, and then we're going to release some characters after like 2 months have gone by. So that we're going to dodge all of the hype. People are going to have their time with Strive, and then things are going to settle down, and then they're going to be like, oh, hey, Season 5, Akira, Oro, this looks sick. Because there was a big gap in between like Rose, and then Oro and Akira came out at the same time. So that was like a respect move as a competitor. Putting the Smash live stream on the same day as Nick All-Star Brawl. This is not a respect move. This is a muscle move. This is getting a little too close. A little closer than is comfortable. Which is like weird, because it's obviously like the date that they announced the character is completely arbitrary. They could do it the day before, they could do it the day after, they could have done it at the Direct. They could have done it a week, any day, but they specifically chose the release date of their only, like, non-indie competitor, which is just devious. It's a devious lick. Isn't that meme like when you steal things? Pretty sure it's when you steal things. This isn't really stealing, it's just kind of like stamping it out, trying to stamp it out. It's definitely a power move by Nintendo, because literally everyone's gonna be talking about whoever the last character is for for literally a week afterwards. So I don't know like what they're gonna do about it. I don't know why they're so scared. Maybe they're not scared. It might not be that, because All-Star Brawl is it's not gonna kill Smash. That's for sure. It might be cool. It's interesting. It's definitely made by people who have a very competitive background with competitive games. I think the main flaws lie in how budget it is. Holy shit, that game looks yeesh. The art style is mostly fine, but visually, like, God, all the characters blend into the background. All the animations are like very, they're like too fast. There's not enough what's it called? Anticipation. That's what it's called in animation. It's called anticipation. It's just like you hit the button and snap. Like everything's a freaking like 2-frame normal. It's just very floaty looking, and with like all the anime. It's just hard to understand what's going on visually. Watching the gameplay of it, but it'll probably be fun. It'll probably be solid mechanically. Then of course the very subpar, basically non-existent music and the actually non-existent voice acting definitely hurts it. But my girlfriend is going to get it, so I will be forced to play it at some point. I have to, like, way back. Let me tell you about this little experience I had last week, I think. So if you recall, if you're a frequent listener of the podcast, I went on a retreat for my high school a few weeks ago. I want to say like a month or two ago. And as a leader, going back, and it was a retreat I went on when I was a student. I really enjoyed it. They asked me to come back as a leader, and I was like, yeah, sure. And then as a gift, the head of the head organizer of our school's campus ministry department gave all of us $150 gift cards to Target. And it was like a situation where I was like, thank you. Because I was like, what am I gonna get at Target? What does Target have for me? So I brought this up to my girlfriend, and I was like, yeah, like, I don't know, like, what I'm gonna get. I just have this gift card just kind of lying around. And she goes, oh, you can just buy Steam cards. And I was like, what? And she goes, yeah, you can just go in and use the gift card to buy Steam cards. And I was like, oh, that's sick. I'm going to be able to pay for so many fighting games with that. So the day comes, I'm like, you know what, today I'm going to go down and, Multi-Blood type Lumina's coming out in a minute. It's coming out in a few days, actually. From when I record this. And this is going to be the second season of Strive DLC. It looks like Slayer's going to be in the game at some point. And maybe not in Season 1 of the DLC. So if I can pick up the second season pass to get him, that would be great. It could work out. So I take out the card, I look at the back, I take it off, I'm like, okay, $150, I'm looking at the back, and then I see at the bottom something about cannot be exchanged for specialty or like service cards or something like that, like gift cards or specialty cards. And I'm like, what do you mean? Can I not use the gift card to buy another gift card? Why would that be? So I started looking it up. I start Googling and giggling. Honestly, not really giggling, though, because I'm dead serious about this. And I'm getting a lot of conflicting information. I'm getting people who say, well, you can go into GameStop and use a GameStop gift card to purchase, gift cards. And that's not a problem. They don't even tax you. And then I'm seeing people be like, no, you can't do that at Target. And then I'm like, there's people who are saying you can, and people are saying, oh, it's store by store. So I'm like, what? So I bite the bullet. I'm like, the worst that can happen is I'm going to get some exercise in. So I walk a mile and a half to the nearest Target by my house. And I get in there, I go to the back. Dude, Target, why would they not? They like hide the gift cards from you. Well, they don't like hide them. They're like distributed around the store in ways that don't make any sense. It's like buried treasure. Like you gotta know the spot. like, I go, okay, so my first instinct is to go towards the entertainment electronics section where they have all the other video games, and there's like a thing, like, okay, there's a cards section, okay, there's gift cards, or you know, those, like, you know, points cards. You can get your Riot points for League, you can get your game time cards for WoW. I don't know why you would do that. You can buy your Roblox monies. And so I'm looking around, I see, okay, PC, and there's a very small PC section, because obviously they don't sell PC games at stores anymore, because it's not like 2010. So they have a very small section just for PC game cards, and it's basically just stuff like for PC, like League of Legends and stuff like that. And almost everything is cleared out, so I'm like, huh. Okay. So I look around, there's just another random stand like 30 feet away that has a bunch of other gift cards for like Applebee's and stuff, and I'm like, what? Okay. I'm looking around, I'm like, I can't find it. Eventually I decide to like walk towards the front of the store, and then randomly on the side in one of the aisles there's just a big wall of more gift cards, just full of them. And oh, there's Steam cards right next to the Red Lobster. Why? I don't know. Why isn't this near the entertainment or the electronics or in the literal PC gaming section? I don't know. So I'm like, okay, I grab like $150 or $140 in gift cards. I walk over to the self-checkout. And just out of curiosity, there's a lady there who works there, and she's like directing people this way and that way. And I go, hey, can I use this card to buy these cards? And she goes, nope. And I go, all right then. Okay. And I dejectedly walk back to the wall of gift cards that is now taunting me. I put them back on the rack, which was needlessly difficult. I don't know why it was so hard to just like why it's such a tight fit on the little like hook thing that they have. And then I'm just standing there in the middle of this Target, like, what do I buy? Like, I already walked all this way. What do I get? So I go back to the electronics section. I'm like a Eskimo in the freezer aisle, dude. Like, what do I... That was fucking stupid. I look around, I'm like, okay, maybe at least I can maybe get something for like my channel, right? Like maybe I can like all the you know equipment I have right now is like it serves me. I have like $100 Blue Yeti USB microphone. People like to bitch about the oh my god, the USB buzz. Nobody fucking cares. Nobody fucking people barely even notice that shit. No one cares. Like you can like play one on an XLR and one on a USB, and I would have to listen to them back to back to even really notice. The only reason that like people freak out about it is because they're already into audio equipment, but the average audience member doesn't care. But if I could upgrade, it would be nice. Or maybe, you know, get an audio interface that would be helpful for some like stuff I'd like to do. Like if I have someone else on the podcast, what I want to do is like, you know, I have my little audio spectrum effect, and I would like to get like around like the little circle of my picture. What if I could have a second one, like a second circle for them? And I was doing all this research into like how you would be able to record two different audio streams, like whether you can do that in like Audacity or something like that, which one would be through like the microphone, and then the other one would basically be like speaker output from, you know, from like a Discord call or whatever we were talking through, and then I could have them both be their separate audio. Nope. basically impossible without an audio interface because of the way that Windows handles sound channels. At least as far as I'm aware, that's how it works, because I just could not figure it out, and I spent like many hours trying to. So I'm like, well, if I get like an XLR mic or an audio interface, you know, one or the other. Probably couldn't get both with only $150, but you know, let me see what I can do. They don't sell any of those. Okay. Do you guys sell maybe a slightly higher quality webcam? My webcam is like 720p. Nope. Nope, they don't. So I'm like, huh. Just kind of looking around. Nothing really in the store for me. So I bought socks. I bought $20 of socks. 12-pack. The only 12-pack I've got. It's my socks. They are comfortable. I'm wearing them now, and in fact my grandmother congratulated me, or she complimented me on my socks today. She told me she liked them. So yeah, so I walked back home with the sock. I didn't get a bag or anything because I don't know, I just didn't want the waste. And I walked 1.5 miles back home with a bundle of socks in my hand. And what the fuck was I talking about? Oh yeah, so to finish this out, so I ended up buying like a 4 terabyte hard drive from their website, which I should have checked earlier, I guess, but still, like, barely anything Target offers that I actually want. The best I could do is a roughly like $90 4 terabyte hard drive. HDD, because I was always looking to, I have a 500 something gigabyte SSD right now, and I've always been kind of bumping up against the end of it, because it's more like 400 something. So I was looking into like potentially expanding my storage, and I was just gonna get another SSD because I was like, oh, SSDs are the fast ones. And then I did some research and I was like, oh, okay. So what most people end up doing is that solid state drives are faster, but HDDs, hard disk drives, are way more cost effective for space. So what a lot of people end up doing is they get an SSD for all of their for their operating system and all their constantly used programs and stuff like that, and then they get an HDD for like their big files and their games and big videos and all that. So one thing that's like, that'll be nice, because one thing that's been kind of a deterrent to me making some videos on like specific games is that it's just a lot more footage to work with, and I don't necessarily have the space for all that. And the last thing that I want to do is to be like in the middle of or like halfway through a game and then run out of space on my hard drive. That's like kind of a nightmare situation, because then I also have to like make a video, and usually the videos I do on individual games tend to be longer, like 40 minutes to an hour in previous cases or something like that. So it was like I don't want to run into that situation where I then have to, I'm a little strapped for space. So it would be really nice to have a 4 terabytes to basically free up a bunch of room, and then I could actually record like 20 hours of game footage if I needed to. So that'll be cool. I don't know when that's coming in. And I only say this. How did I get on this? Right, yeah. Because that Target gift card is going towards, because I don't have anything else that I need with it. I got my socks, I got my storage drive. It's going to be going towards, the rest of the money is going to go towards buying a All-Star Brawl for my girlfriend. I think she's gonna have to chip in like $10 because of the amount that was left on the card, but yeah, Nintendo Direct. I was legitimately, the thing that I got the most hype for was ActRaiser. Like, I am that guy. I am that guy. I was so, okay, here's the thing. Remember when I talked about that leak like last week? I was not expecting to get like basically hard confirmation of that leak. Because there were multiple things. There were, let's see, 1, 2, 3, at least, no, 4 things that came true that were previously like no way. Like there was not even like a rumor or anything or a leak or anything. ActRaiser, Bayonetta 3, the Castlevania Advance Collection, I believe, was on there, and the really specific one that made me believe in this was, pardon me, there was one that I just kind of glossed over because it wasn't. So there was one entry that I never talked about in that leak, and it was called like Untitled Square Enix card game or something, and guess what? They revealed that new Yoko Taro card game from Square Enix. Huh, okay, that's what that was. So legitimately, when ActRaiser popped up, I was not expecting it, and I got freaking hype. I was very pleased. Who owns ActRaiser right now? Because it was made by Quintet. So who's publishing it? Is it? It was made by Quintet, and Quintet like doesn't exist, right? Published by Enix, so now it's Square Enix. Okay, so Square's, yeah, it was, okay. And honestly, the game looks, I like actually kind of yelled when I saw it, because the trailer begins, and it's like all these kind of ActRaiser-y things, like the angel and the kind of like angelic theming, and how does the trailer start? Let me just watch it while I'm talking. Yeah, the Lord of Light, humanity flourishing, and then you gotta reclaim it, and then all the monsters. I was like, oh my god, is it ActRaiser? And then I saw the angel, and I was like, holy cannoli. It's happening. Then the lightning comes down, and the statue animates, and it's like, oh my god, it's happening! And I think the game looks great. Some people were kind of not too keen on the art style in the 2D sections. Just saying that it looked like really busy or something. I don't think so. I think it actually looks... I never had... There are bits where like the particle effects do kind of like there's this part where there's like this purple fire that's like... let's see, yeah. For the most part, like it looks perfectly fine, readable, like definitely a very detailed, like storybook looking art style, but yeah, just there's like a big glare. He's fighting this wyvern and just huge purple effect. But honestly, like if I go back, it's like, okay, so he cast this spell against Tanzra, and he's just kind of like standing there, so I'm assuming that it's actually just like you don't have to be worrying about moving for that. And yeah, same thing, like there's parts, the only parts where it really looks like the screen is getting like cluttered, where you can't like see the main character. It looks like stuff where he's doing like a big lightning burst. Like you're probably invulnerable for that stuff anyway. Yeah, the overhead, all the city building and management stuff. It looks fine. It looks really good, actually. I like the art style. I like it reminds me of, What does this remind me of? I'm trying to think of like because there's like the cutaway art. It's I'm trying to remember like who this. It vaguely reminds me of like some Fire Emblem art. Maybe like ActRaiser artist, Renaissance artist. Can't find anything of like who did the art or something, but it's what the fuck? It's on Steam? I never knew that. What the hell? Wait. I thought it was only on Switch. What the fuck? What the fuck? Oh, it's like $30. I will check this out at some point. It might be easier to check out if I had fucking Steam cards. How's it been reviewing? Mostly positive. One guy gave it a negative review and said this is not a Castlevania game. There's a negative review that says the graphics are bad. It looks like there's some tutorial stuff at the beginning that kind of hurts the pacing. Okay. Okay, I'm happy that it exists. I'm glad. I haven't played it. I'll probably play it at some point. Although it looks kind of looks mixed, but we'll see. It'll shake out. What else was there? Yeah, so the Konami did something good for once. Nobody's bitching about the Castlevania Advance Collection. Right, so the Advance Collection collected all the GBA games. So I believe there were 3 GBA games on for Castlevania. I was just looking at it. Yeah. Circle of the Moon, Harmony of Dissonance, and Aria of Sorrow. Ooh, my neck's a little stiff. So all 4 games are enhanced with newly added modern features such as rewind, save, load, and replay, making this the best way possible to experience these. So basically they're just offering... so this collection also boasts a handy encyclopedia, a music player with all soundtracks, and you can even change the ROM region to play all games in different regions. That's really nice. And it includes Dracula X for the SNES. That is really, really nice. This is how you do... So this is how you actually fight piracy. It's not by adding shitty DRM to your games. It's by producing a product that is more than what piracy can offer. So not only are you getting all these 4 games now in going from the tiny little ass GBA screen to full widescreen support. Well, I guess on a GBA emulator, you could do widescreen and all that. You got them in full screen. Basically all the stuff that emulation offers you, except also, well, including, rewinding, save states, and I don't know exactly what they mean by replay. And this is really neat. Changing the ROM region is a very interesting thing that I've never seen before. Because it's not just a language, right? It's not just like it doesn't say new language selection. It says ROM region selection. So that's almost makes me wonder if this is like a speedrunning thing. Because there's certain like games where it's recommended that you speedrun it in like Japanese, for instance, because the text goes faster. Because Japanese is a more compact language, so the text is faster. Completely new, so according to this, never before seen artwork. Every single one of them has a dedicated encyclopedia with like information about enemies, the game's like systems and mechanics. There's a music player, so listen to any of 4 complete soundtracks anytime you want. You can even create your own playlists. What the hell? This is like tremendous. This is the best thing Konami's done in literally years. And no one has been complaining about how they fucked it up somehow. So I guess they just did it. Was this even Konami or was this someone else? I'm almost curious if they like licensed this out to someone else or if this was like an internal project. So if you're a Castlevania fan, this is like actually good. They're actually doing you right. Yeah, I'm really just kind of baffled at like how good of a package that is for how much is it going for? Oh, for some reason I can't actually. Advanced Collection, $20 on the PlayStation Store. Are you serious? Holy cannoli! If you just go to the actual, it's on Steam for $20. It's going for $20. You get 4 games with all these new features, with the save states, rewind, tons of new artwork that's never been released before. What a good package. Kudos, Konami. Good job, you did it. I don't know how interested I am. I really like well, so Aria of Sorrow has artwork that's very obviously, it's by Yoshitaka Amano, isn't it? It's gotta be. Hang on. Aria of Sorrow, Yoshitaka Amano. It looks so close. Because he did the Symphony of the Night artwork. Right? I'm not just making this up. Like, I'm not just having a Mandela effect, right? I love Yoshitaka Amano. Genya Arikado. Was that the... Who was the Aria of Sorrow covered artist? Cover art? I don't find anything. Who did the cover? It looks just like it really gives me heavy Amano shades. It is, right? I'm not just... Why can't I find any information on this? Aria of Sorrow artwork. Fucking... Why is this so hard to find? I'm not gonna give up until I find out who... Cool box art. Okay, on Twitter. Oh my god, tell me who did it! Oh my god, the thread doesn't say who. I'm gonna lose my mind. Genya... Okay. Genya Arikado. Wait, it's not an artist. It's a character. Whoa, what the fuck? Who did... I'm so mad. Gallery? Ayama Kojima is one artist that's referenced. Ayama Kojima. We're doing some live investigation. Ayami Kojima. Japanese independent artist. Okay. Castlevania, blah blah blah. Okay. Okay. I'm reading. She did some artwork for... Oh no, really? So she did all that stuff. Wow. I fucking... Okay, I was just being dumb. Yeah, she's gorgeous. Her artwork, I mean. She's a pretty lady. I should have phrased that better. I meant her artwork is gorgeous, but she is pretty. Yeah, all this artwork is gorgeous, and it's definitely it's my speed. I love the gothy, pale stuff. What the fuck was I even talking about? Oh, I was talking about how... Right, Aria of Sorrow. I've heard that Aria of Sorrow is really good. I've heard it's potentially a better Symphony of the Night than Symphony of the Night. Which is interesting to me. Because I could have, if I ever play... I think I played like 20 minutes of it. I could have like 2 reactions to it. Because Symphony of the Night is a game I'm very like okay on. It's a very interesting game, but I played it and I was like, I beat Symphony of the Night full completion, which is 200 points. I hate that you can't say 100% because 100% isn't actually the full game. The full game is like 200.6% or some stupid garbage. Because the second castle and all that. So I beat the whole 200.6 of the game in 3 days over 3 sessions that lasted like 5 hours each, where I literally just sat down and played the game for 5 hours straight. And then I beat the game, and I kind of like got up to stretch my legs, and I got a drink, and then I went on a walk, and I realized that I had this feeling during it where it started, at some point into the game where I was like, I don't really know how I feel about this while I was playing it. I didn't know how I felt about it. And I was like, okay, I'll just play more of it and I'll see kind of what my reaction is. And then I finished the game and I got up and I was like, I still don't know if I enjoyed that. I don't know if I actually liked that. It's extremely compelling. It's a very interesting game. But I don't know if I actually enjoyed it. It's a very weird situation. I can completely see why so many people adore it. But I was just kind of like... It didn't really... I don't know. It didn't really hit a super positive or negative note for me. I kind of prefer the older, like, action platformer linear style. Not a huge fan of the... I hate the term Metroidvania. I wrote an entire article on my website like a year ago about why I hate the term Metroidvania so much, or why I think it's a bad term. I could devote like an entire... I think I made like a little rant video about it even. The basic premise of it was that Metroidvania is a bad term because it describes the structure, part of the structure of a Metroid game and the aesthetics of a Castlevania game, but completely leaves out the actual most important, like, mechanical addition to the formula, which is the RPG elements, which completely, in my opinion, the RPG elements in Symphony of the Night make it basically a completely different game from something like Super Metroid or Metroid Prime or whichever one you want to pick. Completely different. And no one really talks about it. They just say, oh yeah, well, you go here and you get an item and then you go somewhere else and use the item to get there. No one ever talks about how much the RPG elements change the game, they just talk about the structure and they're like, oh, it's like Metroid. And it's like, no, it's not like Metroid. It's kind of like Metroid, but it's got this other thing that makes it feel completely different, that gives it a totally different dynamic from Metroid. And if every single Metroidvania was also the structure of a Metroid game with the aesthetics of a Castlevania game, I wouldn't have a problem with it. But that's not every single one. The Vania part of most... The Vania part... Because RPG elements were new to Castlevania, too, with Symphony of the Night. The Vania part of Metroidvania makes no sense in context of, like, any other game. And, that's my little rant about the term Metroidvania. So I'm not, like, a huge nerd for those, but I'm curious, like, when people say that Aria of Sorrow is better than Symphony of the Night, I'm assuming that what they mean is it does the same thing as Symphony, but more, which could go to not like, oh, the original game had problems, because I don't think the original game has really a ton of problems. I don't think it has a lot of problems. It's just like the specific, I don't know, it just doesn't kind of work for me. I think the RPG elements make it, it's also like maybe I was playing the game wrong. I have this whole thing. You can go read that article. I might link it down below if I remember. It was just a very confusing experience, because I was kind of like, I'm one kind of a gamer, right? Like I never call myself a gamer. That's so weird. I just said it. I'm one kind of a, an average game enjoyer, right? And there's like, kinds of games that really hit the spot for me. And if you looked at like my favorite game, if I made like a 3x3, people make those like 3x3s, like grids of like 9 of their favorite anime or manga or whatever. If I did that with games, you'd probably be able to basically figure out my tastes. It'd be like, maybe I could devote an entire episode just to talking about my 3x3, because I have actually made one. But Symphony of the Night isn't quite, I think I was going into it expecting something different, which is weird, but I didn't quite understand the game while I was playing it. I think I understand it now. I understood it on reflection, but not during the time that I played it. So maybe if I went back, I would have more fun with it, because the game isn't... When you compare it to Super Metroid... Let me see if I can just like fucking read straight off the article that I wrote forever ago. Oh boy. Fuck, where did I write my fucking thing? I'm gonna just jump straight to the bottom. Yeah. Let me read you what I wrote roughly a year ago. Oh, get out of my face, fly. Yeah. So, while playing Symphony of the Night, I found myself troubled by the fact that I really didn't know what to feel about it. For someone who likes challenging games, being overleveled was boring, to be honest. I loved the music, the gothic themes, the gorgeous sprite work, but still that confusion was gnawing away at me. What was so perplexing then was that I kept playing the game. I was so compelled by it that I finished with a full 200.6% clear, exploring every nook and cranny, seeing every monster, getting every item. And even now, a few weeks removed from that and with much time to digest the experience, I still cannot tell you what I think of it, but I can say definitively that it is a masterpiece. What was I missing? In my journey to 200.6, I encountered the game's optional super boss, Galamoth, a towering Anubis-like beast with devastating lightning attacks as well as kicks that will throw Alucard to the wall if struck, dealing massive damage. After a good 10 or 15 attempts at taking him down, I finally looked up a guide, thinking that perhaps I was using a suboptimal strategy. The easiest, cheesiest solution was to equip the shield rod, which gives a unique effect on hit depending on which shield you have equipped, along with the powerful Alucard shield. On hitting Galamoth and activating the shield rod's effect, I simply raised my shield and walked into him, watching my health rocket upwards for a few moments before the strongest boss in the game crumpled in front of me. Huh, that's crazy, I thought, and to be honest, I still don't know how that interaction works. After a little fiddling around against some enemies, I did a move that I didn't recognize. Alucard vanished, leaving a red outline, only to flash forward and perform a sword strike in the direction he came from before teleporting back to his first position. Confused, I tried messing with the controls until it happened again, and I realized what I'd done. By doing a fighting game style quarter circle forward input, you could do this special move. This was the straw that broke the camel's back. At that point, it hit me. Holy shit, this game is huge. When I say that Metroidvania as a term is undescriptive, I mean that it's shallow. Super Metroid is a tight, focused experience with wonderful level design, and comparing it to Symphony of the Night is almost a logical folly. The latter is a wide open playground to mess around in. My brain's going bad. Encouraging your creativity with its own range of mechanics, its hundreds of items and foes. The beauty of Symphony of the Night is how free and lackadaisical it is with its core design decisions. That liberty. What at the time seemed to me like sloppy implementation of another game's ideas was just a close-minded view of what it was actually trying to accomplish, what the Metroidvanias that follow it are trying to accomplish. Someone's walking by my door right now. Yeah, so that's if you're curious about reading the entire article. That's basically the end conclusion. It's kind of comparing Symphony of the Night and Metroidvania. I love talking about game design, so that was like... This was back when I was more into... I had a website where I had a blog, and I was doing the daily retro games, and then about once a week I would try to write like a full essay, basically. And that was pretty fun. It was definitely fun. What else did I write about? I wrote about like first thing I wrote about was Mega Man 6, how much I love that. I wrote an article about Toho Project. Oh wait, this isn't a year ago? Why do I feel like it was back in... Why did I feel like it was back in March? No, it was almost... damn, that'll be almost almost a year. The first article that I wrote looked like it was about... When was the first one? First one was on Blood, August 30th. The next one was on Mega Man 6, September 6th. There was another one in September. Another one in Metroid one in October. And then after that I started doing the videos. So if you're curious actually about some of my earlier... If anyone was curious about my specific, like, reviews, I guess, of games, you can go check out those articles that I did. There's like about 4 of them. Before I was like, maybe I should just make videos. I might be able to like go back and cannibalize some of these for videos, actually. That would be fun. I'd love to do a Mega Man 6 video. I love Mega Man 6 so much. What was I talking about? Was I talking about Nintendo Direct? Oh yeah, I just want to finish off talking about the Nintendo Direct. So, at the very... Let's see, a couple interesting things. I wrote down Kerbo Odyssey. Was it Kirby in the Lost Land or something? It looks... Alright. I don't know if anyone heard that in the background. Yeah, it looks cool. It basically looks like they did a Mario Odyssey treatment for Kirby, which is really nice. I'm glad that... Sakurai probably now has the clout in the industry to just kind of do what he wants. Sakurai's crazy, like... I blink and there's another Kirby game, and I'm like, when did that come out? What the heck? What is this? I want Sakurai to just be able to do what he wants. I don't think he really likes making Smash that much anymore. I'm sure he gets some enjoyment out of it, but like creatively, I think that he's been ready to move on since like Smash 4. Maybe Brawl, honestly. Like, he wasn't supposed to make Brawl. Everyone knows that. I feel... fuck. Do people know that story? That they made Smash 64, and then they made Melee, and Melee did really well. And then the Wii was coming out, and there were no plans. There were no plans for Brawl, for a Wii Smash. And so, who was it? Sakurai or Iwata? Not Sakurai. Iwata or Miyamoto, they get up and they're like, and coming on the Wii, we're going to have a new Smash. And then Sakurai was like, oh, we are? And they were like, hey. Like, I think they literally walked off stage, called Sakurai, and were like, hey, can you make another Smash game? And he was like, I guess? And they made Brawl, and it's crazy, because Sakurai put so much work into games that he never even wanted to make. It's, like, crazy. That guy works so hard. So I'm glad that he's probably like, I don't want to do Smash anymore. I want to make my Kerbo games. I want to make my little happy pink guy games. So they said that this like Smash Ultimate would be the last. They said it would be the last. They didn't say it was going to be the last one. I highly doubt it's going to be the last one. But they said it was going to be the last time. It would basically be like, Smash Ultimate's tricky because it's such like, once it's done with development, like after the last character comes out, it's gonna be done, right? Like it's they blew their load. It was a good load. Oh fuck, that doesn't. Oh, I didn't think about that, but you know what I mean, right? It was. It was like, oh, you had the chance. They took it, made a huge game, tons of money. But once it's over, it's like, well, we can never really do that again because we're never going to be able to get all of these properties in this. Like, what are you going to do? Smash Omega, and it's got everyone again. It's like, you can't do it. It's a trick that works once. It's a great trick, but it only works once. So, what I think for the last game, for the next game in the series, I think it would be great if they just they took the same engine, which will probably carry forward pretty easily. To take the same engine, probably they'll be able to. What I'm saying is, I want them to do like, I want them to do like a Marvel 2. I want them to do a Marvel vs. Capcom 2. I want them to grab up all their existing assets, throw it in the game, you know, and just go, all the new characters, I want them to go super hard on Nintendo. I want them to go super hard on their own history. I want to see, like, all the obscure characters that people want. I want the fun picks. I want the crazy picks. I want to see it. I want to see them, like, get kind of crazy with mechanics and stuff. They've expanded. What they've done is they've gone like wide, especially with all the third-party characters. They've gone wide, and I think the next game, the next logical step to one up the last game is to go deep. Instead of wide, you gotta go deep. And I think I think it would be cool. You could do it right. Maybe Sakurai wants to, and maybe he won't. Maybe it would be good to just let someone else take over. Which might sound like heresy to some people, but I don't know. Maybe like a fresh. You can definitely do it right if you get someone who really loves Smash and all that. 10-5, baby. Man, who's gonna be the last character? It's got to be someone crazy. It's got to be someone. It has to be, right? Like, it can't just be Byleth again, right? It's got to be something completely absurd. That's why people were saying, like, the Goku memes, it's like, who else is it gonna be? Who else would be such a big deal? The last character to get enshrined in basically the Hall of Fame of video games. Is it going to be a popular pick? There's definitely like areas they've missed, like PC gaming. They've definitely missed. More adult games. They haven't had any FPS representatives, which is why a lot of people have been wanting like Master Chief or Doom Guy. I think Doom Guy would be. It would be weird, but it would be cool. I don't know if he would affect the problem is like he might affect the rating. Not because it would be gory or anything, because they wouldn't do that, but just because he would be using like actual firearms, and that's like kind of a no-go. But it would be freaking sick. I would be super down to see Doom Guy. If it was like a mid-range. That would be neat. If you were to implement Doom Guy, you could actually make like a mid-range, close-range projectile character with like the shotguns and all that stuff and the chainsaw. That would be cool. You could have like a unique mechanic for like glory kills or something. Like, once he gets you above a certain percentage, if he does like a grab on you, then he can do like some kind of like kill throw or something like that. Like, maybe his whole thing is, like, he has really weak killing power before he gets you to, like, 80, 90%, and then he just blows you up. Like, he just destroys you. Maybe he has to, like, try really hard to get in or something like that. Like, he has to rush you down. That would be fun. I always love imagining how, like, unique ways you could adapt characters into get like existing characters into like a Smash or another kind of fighting game. That would be really cool. I'm gonna wrap up by talking about Bayonetta 3. At the very tail end of the conference, they had this trailer for Bayonetta 3, which is cool. I'm glad it exists. I think we talked about a question last week from Lozy, where he lamented the lack of power on the Switch. And at the time, like, I don't look at Switch games very often, like footage of them, I mean. So I was like, yeah, well, and now watching it in action, it's like, this does look like a PS3 game. This looks like a late era PS3 game, which isn't necessarily an insult. Those games look fine. But like, Bayonetta it's not going to be affected as badly because it does have, Bayonetta has like kind of a realistic style, but it also does have a bit of like a more, I guess you'd call it fantastical aesthetic. It's got elements of it that are less realism. So it'll look fine. It looks fine. is just kind of unfortunate that it can't look like Devil May Cry 5. On the upside, you do know that if Nintendo ever makes a new console with that's much more powerful, or a Switch upgrade, well, if it's a Switch upgrade, then of course, but if they ever make a new console that's actually like, on technologically on par, I would put bets on Bayonetta 3 coming to that console. So you can hedge your bets for the future, that at the very least, in the future, we'll probably get something that will do it, maybe let's say the justice that it deserves. And until then, we'll have to settle with the really cool looking gameplay. Oh no, she can make a spider. She can make a spider with her hair. It doesn't, like, let me go back and check that trailer. And it is a Switch exclusive. When I look up Bayonetta 3, one of the first news stories: Platinum Games, if you want to play Bayonetta 3, simply buy a Switch. Classic Kamiya. Let me check it out. Let me check it out again, just to like, ooh, yeah, this does look a little. It looks fine. It looks it looks. It does look like an early PS4 game. It does. I'm sorry. The little fake out with like the astral chain dog is funny. Yeah, she swoops in. She's got a new design. I think the new design looks good. She has like a skirt, like a kind of like, yeah, let me just pause on this. She has like a skirt. She's it's like a purplish accent, I guess, to her now. She's got quad braided pigtails. That looks cool. A little more like, what would I call it? Not flare. What's the term? Like, she has the things around her elbow. That's what I'm trying to say. Is they frilly, sort of, almost frilly, but they're like straight, like almost like feather texture. So a little like, yeah, definitely like a little less, more like she's wearing a dress than like the bodysuit that it old designs looked like. I will always prefer the Bayonetta 2 design just because I'm partial to women with shorter hair, but that's a personal thing. Her guns now have 3 barrels to symbolize that this is the third game. It operates on a number of levels, mainly 1. And yeah, she looks cool. She still looks cool. She's still, I won't say that. I won't go any further with what looking at her reminds me of. Now she's got a thing where you can do a little dance and you can summon a hair kaiju and it'll fight. There's like a big dragon and it's fighting the other big monster. Let's see what other ones are there. Oh, and she's dancing while it's happening. There's a big bird. She's dancing to like make it do attacks. That looks cool. I wonder like how. Oh, there's a big spider and it's swinging on a web. She looks like she just has like a little glow effect on her, and her hair gets all like, she like puts her hair down and it's all like flowy when it happens. So it looks like it isn't gonna make her basically naked, which I guess is a bit of a shame. There's this really neat sequence where you're like skating, you're doing like a Sonic Adventure 2 Escape from the City, except you're escaping on the city, as in you're riding on a dragon down collapsing buildings. That looks pretty neat. They're like warping. It looks like Doctor Strange. It looks cool. It looks cool. And then at the very end, there's like people, there's like this little character it's pulling back and he's in silhouette, and people are like, "Is that Nero? Is that?" No, it's not. It's not. It's just a new Platinum character. He's a guy with a sword. He's an anime guy with a sword. It's just a new Platinum character with a sword. It's not that crazy. He does look like Virgil. He does have that flair going on, which makes, sense because it's a Kamiya thing. Yeah, the game's looking cool. It'll probably... There wasn't a ton of, Was there, actual, non-kaiju combat shown off? I think there was. Yeah, okay, there's, a couple seconds. She's dodging, she's doing the witch time. Yeah, they got all... Yeah, there's jumping around on the guys, there's... Yeah, it looks like more Bayonetta stuff, It looks like basically Bayonetta, but with more stuff. I have actually not played either of the first two Bayonetta games. So I can't say exactly, I can't make any analysis inferences on how the gameplay is different, but it looks generally the same. It looks cool. The kaijus look cool. The graphics are fine. Looks like there's some cool set pieces like Bayonetta usually has. Still want her to step on me. Oh, fuck, I said I wasn't gonna... Alright. Wasn't gonna say anything like that. Yeah, it looks cool. I'm gonna call it basic... Oh my fucking god, how did I forget about the Mario cast? How did I forget about the Mario movie? How did I do that? It was the biggest thing. How did I spend fucking 3 hours talking about Symphony of the Night, and I almost forgot to talk about the Mario movie cast? So everyone's been talking about that. Do I have anything new to say? Not really. Maybe I'll figure it out as I speak, but I do want to vent a little about it. I remember seeing it, and I couldn't believe what the fuck was happening, and I was texting my girlfriend live. Just she wasn't watching the direct, so all she got was no context messages, just one at a time, all caps. Chris Pratt is Mario, Jack Black is Bowser, Donkey Kong is Seth Rogen. He's so cool. He's so cool. I'm sorry, I just... Celebrity voice acting kind of sucks. I'm not gonna lie to you. It's a shame that, what would you call it? Not standalone, but industry voice actors? I don't know what you would call it. People who are not actors from Hollywood. While I'm talking, there's a one frame here where you can see right under Bayonetta. I'm rewinding so I can... Okay, I'm gonna have that on screen while I talk. It'll help me focus, I guess. Right when she lands, it's at 138, and if you're curious, in the trailer. Yeah, I wish that, people who were, I'll just say industry voice actors, that they were more recognized. It is difficult, it is as legitimate as on-screen acting. And it's every bit as much of a grind, but with much less potential payoff. And it's really lame when especially like kids movies, feel the need to put in celebrity voices because it's like kids don't really care that much. Like, if you didn't have it, they aren't going to be like, oh my god, Anya Taylor-Joy is Peach? Whoa. And I don't know, it feels kind of lame. It feels like, why do we have to... It kind of like, there's this mindset that kind of pervades that in American culture, at least, that animation isn't really that serious. And it really doesn't help when, first of all, there's really no animation for a more mature audience that isn't something like Sausage Party or Family Guy. Basically just comedies, or very lowbrow comedies, like Sausage Party, which also have Seth Rogen, right? He's in that movie, isn't he? There's no way he's not in Sausage Party. Yeah, he's in it. Right? Yeah, he's a first build. Story. He wrote it! What the fuck? It kind of like just kind of furthers the idea, because it's like, oh, in order to be legitimate, it's kind of like, remember when I was talking about the whole discourse? I hate the word discourse, and it's entirely because of social media. But that whole discussion around like the Citizen Kane of gaming, and it was really just born out of like, games have to be more like movies because games are not a legitimate, and the implication is games are not a legitimate enough art form on their own. We need to basically crib from the film industry, specifically films, because we ourselves can't like stand on our own 2 feet as works of art. And the same thing kind of happens when you cannot have a single animated film that doesn't have an entirely celebrity voice cast. Because the implication is like, well, you know, voice acting is just, it's pushed to the side. It's not seen as like, I don't know, it's not seen as, I guess you would use the term erasure. In order for a film to be like legitimate, it needs to have, in order to interest anyone, it needs to have a full celebrity voice cast of people you know from seeing them in the flesh. Because otherwise it's like, what voice actors do people know? And it's a wicked cycle, because the longer you do it, the less people know any voice actors that aren't, you know, celebrities or, you know, from anime. In Japan, where they actually take voice acting very seriously. In like the public, in the mainstream too. Not just like anime nuts, but they're treated like legitimate celebrities, voice actors in Japan. And the longer that you only cast celebrities as voices in animated features, the longer you just perpetuate this idea that it's not the only way a film could ever draw your attention. Because that's what the purpose is. It's we need to draw the attention with a big name, several big names. Because it's never just like other movies, right? Isn't that interesting? Because when you have like other movies that are maybe like, you know, pretty big, it'll be like 1, maybe 2 people you've heard of, like maybe 1 or 2 big names, and then just a bunch of like other people who are like, you know, mid-level famous actors. Like, not a bunch of huge people, but for some reason when it gets to animated films, it's like fucking every single role is a fucking heavy hitter A-lister celebrity. And the implication is that like you need it. It's the only way. It's the only way to get anyone's attention is to just double down on name recognition. And I don't know, it just kind of sucks. It's sort of lame. And I'm saying that as someone who isn't even a big voice actor nerd. I don't know like, I recognize certain voices that I hear often, but I can't, like, name you off the top of my head, oh, my favorite voice actor, my favorite, like, oh, I remember this performance super well. But I think at the same time, I can still say that it's, like, a legitimate thing. What's, like, the best... I'm trying to think of, like, the best vocal performance... Oh, I'm not going to spoil what the best vocal performance is I've ever heard in a video game or anything before, because I'm probably going to make a video about it because I like it so much. And it's a case where a voice actor really did basically create a character from the ground up through just their sheer raw skill at voice acting, and just being a cool cool actor. With that out of the way, I've been looking at Bayonetta's ass for about 10 minutes now, or however long it's been. Time is hard to track right now for me. I'm going to call it a day, and see you guys on the next one. If anyone's been listening this far, feel free to leave a comment in the below asking a question if you'd like to ask me a question. It has to be phrased as a question. I'm not just going to read your thoughts out loud. And I will definitely get to it on the next episode. I've been Taigen. I tried to remember whether or not I had an outro, and then I remembered that I'd never had an outro. You should go check out the stuff that I like. Bye.